Hello mathematicians, I hope by the end of this video you can say I can add and subtract decimals. So before we get too far into this, let's just remember that these terminating decimals that we're going to be working with can be represented using a fraction. So say we're talking about this right here. So we're talking about 3.42. A better way of saying this would be 3 and 42 hundredths. Remember, this is after the decimal point right here. This is our tenths place, our hundredths place, and then if you were to keep going, our thousandths, 10,000ths, and so on and so forth. So this right here is the same as 3 and 42 over 100 as a mixed fraction. Let's say we have 3 and 42 hundredths plus 6 and 78 hundredths. Again, it's just 3.42 plus 6.78. But I think we should get in the habit of saying where they're at and which place value we're talking about. So if we're going to do this, this is going to be similar just like adding multi-digit numbers, which we are very comfortable with. We're still going to stack them up, except for it is going to be important that you line up our decimal points. So let's say we're talking about, so we have these decimal points right here need to be lined up. So we have 3.42 plus 6.78. Okay, so this seems pretty easy so far. So we'll go something like this. So 2 plus 8 is 0. All right, our 2 plus 8 is 10. Put the 0 here. Carry the 1 over. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 7 is 12. Put the 2 here. Carry the 1 up. And this decimal point is going to go straight down. So this decimal point is going to be right here in our answer. So we have 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. So we have 10 and 20 hundredths. Or we could also, if this 0 is at the end and it's behind a decimal, we actually really don't need that right there. We do not need this 0. So I think the most precise way of saying things would be 10 and 2 tenths, or 10.2 would be how we would answer this problem right here. Let's do one more problem right here. So let's say we have this problem here. Say we have 9.021 minus 6.95. Okay, so now so 9 and 21, this is in the thousandths place, so this is 9 and 21 thousandths minus 6 and 95 hundredths. So we're going to stack these up again, and this is going to be a little bit trickier. Let's make sure that we line up our decimal points. So we got 9.021 minus, and now my decimal point needs to be right here. So if I were to do 6.95 here, that would be wrong. So say I were to do this, I would do 6.95. Notice how our decimal points are not lined up, so we do not want to do that. So let's undo that here. So we want to do this. We want to do 6.95. So now notice how there's no value underneath here. And because it is after the decimal, we can actually put a 0 here. That's what that means. Just like how we took away the 0 over here, now we can just add 1. And really, we could keep adding as many zeros as we wanted after all these decimal places, and it wouldn't change the value of the decimal. That's how the decimal works, okay? So just so we know. But we're not going to do that because that'd just be silly. So let's start. So 1 minus 0 is 1. 2 minus 5, we can't do that. So we need to borrow. Okay, but there's nothing right here. So we cross that out. So we need to go all the way over here. So this one becomes an 8. So this one was a 10, but remember, we need to borrow from it. So now it's a 9. It's getting kind of sloppy here. So this one is a 12 now. 12 minus 5 is 7. So now we'll look. 9 minus 9 is 0. And 8 minus 6 is going to be 2. So our answer is going to be 2.071, or 2 and 71 thousandths. Okay, so Most important thing when you're adding and subtracting decimals is just lining up those decimal points and stacking them up, and then just using your knowledge of adding and subtracting multi-digit numbers. And I think this is going to be pretty easy for you all. All right, so I hope by now you can say I can add and subtract decimals.